Hello, everybody.
Welcome back. Here we are.
Back. Long-awaited, highly anticipated.
The Ginger Unscripted team.
Your favorite podcast featuring two gingers, one real, one fake.
Who's who?
We're not going to tell you. Totally unscripted, candid conversation made just for you.
For you.
We're looking at you.
That's right. You there, out there.
When was the last time we did this? Do you
No
remember?
idea, never know.
Yeah.
I would say it's been not a astronomically horrific long amount of time like last time.
It's been like 3 months.
Okay.
Sounds about right.
I will say one of our first comment today was anticipating it being October when we released the next one.
All right.
So we're beating the punch.
Hopefully.
we're ahead of the game.
At least recorded in July.
Yeah.
We'll see
when it comes up.
We'll see.
Who knows?
Probably next week.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them like what you've got going on the horizons?
I guess so. You should too, because I feel like all the stuff you've been up to. Because I'm trying to remember where we were 3 months ago. If it's July, that means it was May.
No idea.
I remember we were like, we're not going to take forever on this next time.
I mean, we say that every time.
And here we are.
Yeah, but Zach's moving around.
I'm moving around. I'm flying out tomorrow to New York for a week to apartment hunt. I can't talk about the specifics, but I'm hopefully finalizing a job out there. So I'm going to be splitting my time between here and New York. And I almost said SF because as soon as I come back, I will be in San Francisco like August through the end of September. I'm working on an opera at the SF Opera.
So exciting.
You guys are welcome to come see it. Don't fly all the way out thinking I'm going to be a big part of it because I'm not speaking and I'm not singing. And my understanding is I'm just in the prologue. Why they needed me for an opera? I don't know.
Essential.
They were like, we need a guy. At first, they wanted me to be naked, potentially. They were like, we need a guy who could be naked and murdered. They were like, you? And
You're that guy.
I was like, sure, whatever. And then I showed up, and they were like, we don't want you to be naked. And I was like, I could have told you that over the phone. And they were like, what about the guy who kills the naked guy? And I was like, okay. And for some reason I need to be there in like mid-August.
Yeah.
And then the performance start late September. So that's what I've been up to.
Yeah. So if we are delayed on the next pod, it is because of lots of travel.
Because of me. And I feel like it's usually because of you.
Zach.
So it's my turn to be blamed.
That's right.
What about you since May? I feel like you did a bunch of stuff.
I don't know. I feel like it's mostly my usual stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest. Yeah.
Tell them.
Just the usual.
What's the usual?
Tell them what? I don't know. Filming verticals and filming content.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've...
You had a birthday?
Travel. I did have a birthday.
That was a night.
Whoop. Yeah. Zach was with me for like 17 hours on my birthday.
17 hours?
Yes.
I guess you came to pick me up at like 10:30.
Even earlier, 10:30, and then we went until like 4 a.m.
Well, I didn't go till 4 a.m. I got dropped off back at my house like at like 1 a.m.
Oh.
Or
why did I go to bed
no,
so
I think
late?
you're right. Because we went to Denny's.
Yeah. Because we didn't get to Denny's till like 2.
I guess we can check.
Yeah. Because I was like, I didn't go to bed until like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And I basically just dropped everyone off and went home.
How far do you think I'd have to scroll to get to
birthday? How many photos you take a day?
Well, I mean of us in our thread conversation.
Oh, probably quite a bit. We've been conversing quite a bit. But nonetheless, we had a full B-Day day where all the besties basically kicked it with me for like a full 17, 18 hours. We beached, and then after beach, we went and we saw an improv show. And then after the improv show, we went to a bar. And Dorothy had 4 lemon drops.
It was a good time.
I don't really drink, so it was a time. And then we all went to Denny's afterwards, as one does. When you drink, you go get diner breakfast food afterwards. So
yeah.
And that was the full day, and it was honestly a lovely birthday. We played Uno on the beach. Highly recommend if you've never done. It was a lot of fun. Still going? I'm telling you, it was like at least 4 a.m. Because I didn't even go to sleep until 5. So by the time I drove home, washed my face, it was a time.
Yeah, we were speaking. Yeah, at like you're right. At like 4 a.m. you were driving home. So.
Yeah.
But I feel like.
I'm telling you. I just did a spree of dropping everybody off.
Yeah, I sent you all the photos at 3:18 a.m. So that must have been when I got home. So yeah, you're right.
Nonetheless, 10 a.m. till 3 a.m. That's nearly a full...
How jealous are you?
That's right.
Full day and night, Dorothy Mannine. You wish.
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, birthday had the birthday, and I think that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways.
Should we share any more details or move on? I had a time.
I didn't think the details you're thinking about should not be shared.
All right. No details for you. But I'll just say I was an RA in college. For those of you that don't know, that's a residential assistant. That's like the college kid that gets paid to like make sure all the other college kids aren't like falling over themselves drunk and doing drugs and stuff, whatever. I felt like an RA that night. Not because of Dorothy, but because of other people. So it definitely felt like Sherpa Zach.
Zach's always making sure everybody's doing all right.
I just don't like creeps.
And he took on that role strongly that day.
Willingly. But someone had to do it. But I'm glad you still had fun.
I had so much fun the entire
That's all that
day.
matters.
So
it's the fact that you had fun.
I had a time.
Yeah.
Shall we get into our first?
I guess so. Yeah, we'll read comments. Oh,
yeah.
We didn't do the little blurb, did we, about this podcast? If this is your very first podcast, you can already get a feeling for it. It is me, myself, Zach, and Dorothy, and we just have a totally unscripted conversation. We go through the comments that you guys left. We usually have a couple of things to share, and we just see where the wind takes us.
Yeah.
So feel free to jump into the other ones, but these are not sequential. Like you don't need to have watched the previous. I don't even know what number we're on. Do you?
No idea. I would say maybe 6.
No.
7.
10.
No. Maybe 8 at most.
We also say a lot below. Let us know down below.
Yes.
So that we can get to it next time.
And one of the comments was actually, do you guys actually want us to comment every single time in the pod you say, let us know down below?
Yeah, what do you think, I'm a liar?
The answer is yes!
What do you think? You think I'm just making stuff up? Never.
Of course we do.
Every single time.
Spam them comments.
Yeah, come on.
They're honestly extremely entertaining. We infuriated in the best way a lot of people last time by not remembering what the Mandela effect was called. And we both could not find the name of what it was. And all the people in the comments are like, Mandela
But that's
effect,
how it works. When you're in the moment, living in real life, you can't remember stuff.
No.
But as soon as you're watching someone else try to, it's like your brain is just activated.
That's it. So... with that being said, our very first comment was from Tiger Lily 53. Oh, I mean, this was 3 months ago. So it was, probably 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Slay. There you go. It might be October when you guys answer. What are you going to be for Halloween?
Oh, I've been thinking about that.
Do you dress up? Have we talked about this?
Yeah, I do if I have like something I'm going to.
Like full send dress up?
Yeah. It just depends on like how quickly in the year I'm like on top of stuff.
Yeah.
And if it's last minute, I just like pull whatever. I think 2 Halloweens ago, I like decided on my costume like the day of.
Okay.
So I was the priest from Fleabag.
Nice.
Because that's super easy to do.
Yeah.
But other times when I like really, really am like on top of shit, I don't even know what I did.
What differentiated the priest from Fleabag versus a priest? Any priest. The costume.
The vibe. There's no
difference.
I think he
just
like rolls his sleeves up.
Okay.
On his costume.
So you did that?
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great show. It was just so I could do the TikTok. Just like, I want to fuck a priest.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Of course.
Catholic or whatever that is.
Yeah, I also did that TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what was I last year? I think I was an angel.
Ooh.
If that was this last year. If you recall, I was like talking to somebody and they were like a devil and I was an angel.
Yes.
Remember that was
yes.
That was
I do recall.
That was a time.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I saw you on Halloween, but I do recall that.
I was out and about.
Yeah.
With a meanie bobini.
Yeah. So you don't know where you're going to be this year?
No, I don't even know where I'll be.
True.
Yeah.
If you're in New York, New York would be fun. So I haven't got my costume yet, but it's going to be between 2 things. One, if I do it far enough in advance, poison ivy.
Oh.
The only thing with Poison Ivy is like all the costumes for her are terrible. So I would have to get something like made. So that's if I do it far enough in advance and I prepare, which we're already catching up there. If I run out of time and I need something last minute, the yellow suit from Kill Bill.
Oh, nice.
That fit.
Well, that's funny. Both those characters are played by Uma Thurman.
There you go.
Did you know that?
I did know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was like, are we on a Uma Thurman kick, or is this like a secret crush?
It just so. I mean, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I also just so happen to want to be. Although I wouldn't do her version of Poison Ivy. Hers is a bit more camp. I would do a bit more of a sexy version.
I was going to say hers is pretty
funky.
Like, it is conservative in that sense.
Yeah.
Of like high collar sleeves.
Yeah, mine would be pretty slutty.
Yeah, I mean, it's Halloween.
Not like crazy slutty, somewhere in between.
The right amount of slutty.
Yeah, just a touch of slut.
Yeah, give us ideas down below. What should be?
Yes.
What should I be? I have no thoughts.
Yes.
I've been seeing the TikToks. It's like, give me an idea for a costume that's not blah, blah, blah. But it's never a ginger dude being like, give me. So it's like they're never applicable. It's always like some lady. I'm like, I can't be this person.
Yeah.
We're very different dimensions.
Yep.
Let's go below.
Well, yeah, and what are you guys going to be for Halloween? Do you know already? Is maybe we can steal your ideas.
I feel like I had an idea, but it'll come to me later.
Barbie and Ken?
Have I told you
Everybody's
going to
be Barbie and Ken. No.
I would be, I think I've made TikToks about this. I would be immediately down Ken. So that is like in the guy world, this is like your buddy who's always down
for anything.
For anything. And it would be funny. It's like, imagine me, like maybe like cargo shorts, backwards hat. Like imagine me like putting like a picture up and the other Kens walk by and they're like, yo, Ken, do you want to like go? And before they can even finish their sentence, I'm behind them, you know? And we walk by and they're like, I'm walking the opposite way and they're like, Ken, do you want to? And I'm already turning around. I'm dabbing them up. And as we're done dabbing, there's a beer in their hand. I would be immediately down Ken. Always beer in hand. Always just down before they even finish.
I love that you knowing what Ken you're going to be is actually not a clothing option, but a vibe.
Yes, yeah. It's about, well, because they have jobs, you know, and it doesn't have to be like an actual job. So mine would just be like immediately down Ken. He's always supportive. It's like, I used to be this way when I was younger. I don't really drink anymore, but it's like my friends they'd be like, Shaw's? And it's before they could even finish. I was like, I had to buy. I was like, yeah. Like, that's what I remember one of my buddy Jay's, he's like, that's what I like about you, Zach. You're always down. And I'm like, yeah, man.
Do you still feel like you are to this day?
Yeah, but less like in a party vibe.
Yeah.
Just more in like a go with the flow kind of vibe.
I agree. I agree. I think you are.
But immediately down Ken.
Maybe that's
Ken. What I would be for Halloween. But nobody would know what that is. They would just be like, you're just saying you're Ken and you're dressed like this, and you're like, I'd be like, you don't understand.
Let me give you the backstory.
Yeah, and I'd have like beer in each cargo pant, and as soon as my buddy like looked at me, it would be in his hand, and I'd be next to him. It's like, wasn't he just over there? And it's like, no, he's down.
There's nothing like a Halloween costume that you have to explain.
Yes. Yeah, and then you're like, how long do you have?
All right, great. Questions for the next pod. This is from Addie Baby K1D.
Whoa.
What a name. Love it. Speaking of apartments and decor, what's your favorite type of home decor? What kind of home would you see yourself in the future if you could buy whatever you wanted, and in what kind of location? So what kind of decor, what kind of place, and where?
Okay, I feel like you should go first, even though you read the question.
Great. I feel like you already know I know.
Oh, yeah, and you will have a good answer.
My ideal situation is I live in a castle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems
but
like it'd
that
be drafty.
Drafty?
Yeah, a big castle. They're old. They're not insulated properly. A lot of wind.
That is
not in your version.
Are you hearing this?
Castles are drafty.
That is your first.
Yeah, I mean, I think about insulation.
Installation.
That's a legit. Let us know down below. Are castles drafty? That's my first thought.
Have you lived in a castle and was it drafty?
They're just made. They're old and they're just made out of
that
like
is fair.
stone.
So let me say that
with
I would want a castle that is modern functioning. So like
castle on the outside, modern on the inside.
Yeah, well, not like modern decor per se, because I love like castle architecture, but I want it to be functioning modernly. So like I feel the same way about cars. Like I really want a vintage car for the look, but not for the operation. I want it to operate very high tech, but I want it to look vintagey, and I know that doesn't exist.
It's like those TikTok comments that are like, "Don't buy an old house if you're just gonna redo it."
Well, that's why I want it to look old. I just want it to operate nice.
I see.
Yeah. So with that being said, I love like what you would envision the inside of a castle to look like to the max, kind of gaudy.
Torture devices
For sure. A dungeon.
Yeah. Chains.
Yeah. I want to have like a whole section that can have guest rooms, like if I want, but like it's like a separate wing. Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, that's pretty good. That's decor. And then where is located? Yeah. So, I feel like long term, what I've always seen for myself is I'll have like a more modern home in LA. I'll have a penthouse in New York City, and then I'll have my castle in Italy. Yeah, so that's been easy peasy. That's what I've envisioned for myself.
3 different spots. One a castle. A penthouse, a castle, and a Malibu house. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Listen, when you reach that level of wealth, I'm gonna come knocking.
Well, you'll have your own wing.
Yeah, we can like I'll be like either following behind you or ahead of you in the schedule. Like I'll stay in the off season places when you don't want to be there to like upkeep it.
Very nice.
So you're like, well, obviously you want to do summers in LA, so like I could be making sure that the penthouse doesn't get messed up, and then when you want to do Christmas in New York, so then I'll go to Italy to make sure the Italians aren't rioting and Frankensteining the castle, and that kind of thing. So,
every time I leave the next day, you just fly into whatever that location is.
I think about that sometimes. I'm like, well, that's what the rich people really do when they have multiple homes is they essentially like send a team ahead of them to like prep it. Yeah. I remember when I was really following, because I have no life, the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Yes. And it's like they were talking about all the places he would go. And it's like, they would send a team because it's like a large part of it like took place on the island he was on where he was like detoxing, right? And then she like, allegedly whatever, like, withheld his meds and stuff and whatever. Right. And then I'm like, you just got to get on like the advanced vacation team for a rich person. And they're like, yeah, all right, we're going to Aspen in a month. So like go there and make sure that it's not dusty. Good. Yeah. And you go there and buy groceries and then you just hang out. Yeah. So I could be that for you.
Great. Mm-hmm. It's a deal. What about you?
My answer is...
Other than my places when I'm not there.
Yeah. Well, my answer is terrible, which is why I wanted you to go first, because I just truly do not care about decor in my life. Even like decorating.
Isn't there a decor that upsets you to be around, to look at?
Not really. I mean... I guess for like as long as I have like my own space, like I don't really care personally, like what it looks like or what it does. And like when I'm having a roommate in New York and like they are very like into decorating and decor and space, and I was like, you can do whatever you want, like as long as I have like my own stuff and like my own place to work and like sleep, I'm chilling. And in fact, decorating and decor, like it's fun. Don't get me wrong, like I can get into it, but I'm just not naturally inclined. I don't seek it out. In fact, it stresses me out. Like when I move into a new place, I'm like, fuck. Like most of the paintings in my house, I just bought at Goodwill like 5 years ago. And so, I'm not into it. I mean, I guess that if I like saw Pinterest boards and like when I'm driving around looking at homes, I like all of them for different reasons. Like I wouldn't mind like a very like modern house. Like, the ones that are like almost like brutalistic in nature, a lot of concrete, that's cool. Okay. But I also really love like cottagecore vibes. Okay. I would love like an old brick house.
I could see you in a cottagecore vibe.
But I feel like my decorating style, because I don't throw stuff away, I feel like it just people always come into my apartments, like places I live, and they almost ubiquitously say, oh, it's so homey in here, which I have learned to just understand is like, there's a lot of clutter in here.
I don't think your place feels cluttery.
Oh, thank you. I
do think it feels homey, though.
See?
But not cluttery.
It's coded language for...
It's not cluttery, though.
Oh, okay.
Cluttery would overwhelm me, but I don't feel overwhelmed by your place. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in like what is it called? Like maximalist places. I wouldn't want to be in that. Yeah. But never once in my life have I... Like my brother's house, he moved into his house with his wife, and it's like, I wish I could even show them, like, even like this little table... Or like I would never like look at a little corner or a space and be like, all right, I'm going to buy a little statue to put there. Yes. And there's decorative cups. Like almost everything
that you find in my apartment has been used and can be used. And maybe that's where the homie
Purposeful.
comes from. But I don't have just like a little nook that is only for aesthetic purposes.
I see.
And it's not like, oh, that's just there for that reason. Like I think I have a couple of things people gave me, like a little glass ball that just hangs out on a corner. And every time I look at it, I'm like, what's the point of that? Like your little statue things right there. Like it's very nice. Yeah. But I would never think to just like create a little
because they serve no purpose
nook.
Essentially.
Yeah, like I think I would wind up like I would have plants. I love plants and books. So I guess that's my decor.
You have real plants. I'm not there yet.
That's another thing I got to figure out what to do with all this move stuff. I'm like, what do I do with my plants? Because they're not going to come with me to New York. I feel like it would be so
How often
costly.
do they need to be watered?
Like once a week.
Well, that's more frequently.
Yeah.
I was like, I could do it whenever I visit just to check in on the place, but that's probably not once
too
a
much.
week.
So I'll probably just give them away to like my brother, his wife.
How many you got?
Like 8.
Wow.
Wow.
Plant dad.
Yeah, because it's like, well, I'm not going to ship plants out to New York. That seems crazy. It's like I should just get more new plants.
That's fair. So what about location for your
That's another thing.
place?
I feel like
you gotta care a little for that.
I do care. I don't want to be landlocked.
Okay.
I need to be close to water at all times.
Okay.
I need to, even if I don't, like right now I live in Hollywood, I don't go to the beach that much, but I need to know the option is there. Even if I have to drive an hour, the option is still there.
Okay.
Because I grew up, my hometown's called Oceanside. I grew up like 15 minutes from the water. I went to school in San Francisco, a lot of water there. I lived in LA, a lot of water. Moved to New York, more water. So as long as there's water nearby that I can get to, that's it. But I feel like if once I try more cities, I might be like, oh,
this is my vibe.
We'll see.
You just gotta
so
be
very boring answer. Mostly that I don't care and it overwhelms me.
That's fair.
There's so many options when it comes to decorating.
There is.
But like you, it would be great to just have homes. Like I would, in LA and a New York home would be great, and then maybe another home in like some state that I can claim for tax purposes where no one is near me.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, just your little escape.
Even better if I can like have my own zoo.
Zoo? Like
I wouldn't want exotic animals, but it would be nice to just like essentially like have a farm / zoo, and like any animals that I come across in my travels. If they need a home, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take care of you.
What kind of animals are you coming across in your travels?
I want to have the option if something happens to be like, all right, no worries. This kangaroo is coming with me. I wouldn't take the kangaroo because they feel like they are mean. You know, I see those videos of them like choking out a dog. You know, and ostriches scare me too. Yeah. But like, what if I found like a random ferret or like a horse? You know, or some cows. Obviously, cats and dogs is very easy to do.
Yes, well.
But even like birds, you know, if they need something.
All right.
Or like kids, you know. You're going on a press tour, right? This is scenario. You're on a press tour. For some reason, you're doing a movie on like royalty, like the British royal. So you have to travel all around the Commonwealth, which is like Canada, Africa, everywhere.
Okay.
And, you know, there's these kids who's like, you know, their family got destroyed in like a war. And they're like, what are you going to do? And then you're
like, come back to my zoo.
Yeah. It's like, you can come. There's plenty of space. You know, I'll make sure that they're fed and watered and they got, you know, they go to school and stuff.
Fed and watered?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to look out for the kids of the world. They'll be good and they'll have animals.
Love it.
And they'll be healthy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So I hope that answers the question.
I think it certainly does. And then some. Please. Okay. Trish the Dish 09 said, would you rather go back in time to meet your ancestors or time travel to the future to meet your descendants?
Time travel? Because then I would be the important forefather. You go back in time, you got to respect your elders. You go forward, you are the elder. And then that way it's like they have lived with, you know, me as their ancestor.
So you're just going to have the ego pride of being like, yeah, it's me.
And I also like,
the best.
You know, if I go back in time and my ancestors suck, like it's like, all right, whatever. Like that doesn't affect me because I'm going to live my own life. But if I go forward in time and they suck, I still have time to course correct.
I see. Yeah, well, that's, now that I'm thinking about it, if I went, my cat is near an open flame. Son, can you get down? Please? Down? Okay, he's not. He's just looking at me.
Right.
Like, what if I just lingered towards this candle? Don't do it.
Worst case, he'll touch it and hurt himself just a little bit.
That's the worst case.
That's what cats gotta do.
Get down. Thank you. Sometimes all it takes is a hiss. Hello, boy. Anyways, carrying on. Now that I think about it, my ancestors would not even speak English. So I feel like if I went back to meet them, we would just be like,
well, let's assume since you can time travel, you have a communication device.
Oh. Well, that changes things.
Well, let's not be practical on like, I can time travel, but I don't know, I can't talk to people. It's like, you can already bend the laws.
That's fair. Okay. Well, in that case, I think I would actually rather go back just because I think I don't want to know what's ahead.
Okay.
I don't think I could return back to current Dorothy in a sane state of mind after visiting whatever the future may hold.
Okay.
That's kind of assuming the worst. That's to say, if there is any descendants.
From a fear mindset.
I mean, with global war. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I don't know. I wonder. I don't know that my ancestors would have anything interesting, but some real Italians.
He likes the bag.
He does like the bag. Great. Carrying on. Freya 137 said we were kind of talking about something with like collective names of animals or something, like a flamboyance of flamingos is a favorite. If there was multiples of you, what would your collective name be? Like, what's a group of Dorothys or a group of Zachs called? That's a hard question to just think of on the spot.
Yeah, my first thought is gaggle, but that like
a gaggle of Zachs.
But that already exists. Like it's a gaggle of something.
Something is, what is a gaggle?
I don't know. You'll let us know below.
Yeah.
But I feel like a gaggle of Zachs could work. Or my second thought is like there's got to be like some type of like profanity for Zach, like a bunch of bitches or something. Like a group of Zach is like a bitches of Zach, like
a bitches of Zach.
But there's got to be like another term for like. Like
a fuckery of Zachs.
Yeah, fuckery.
That's fun.
Something like that. I feel like there is a term for like if you see like a group of like certain individuals like that are like out and about, like hitting the town. There's like maybe they're all in the same car, they're all walking on the same side of the street or something. There's like a term for that, like a group of hoes, but for Zachs. And I mean that gender inclusive.
Right on. Yeah, I feel like my first instinct is to use the same first letter of my name, so it'd be like a dollop of Dorothy's.
I like that. A dalliance.
A dalliance? Mm-hmm. Is that a word? Dalliance?
Dalliance, yeah.
What does it mean?
Dalliance, like, let's use the Google so I don't sound stupid.
Okay. A dalliance. Or a
casual, romantic, or sexual relationship. A brief or casual involvement with something. Jack was not adverse to an occasional dalliance with a pretty girl.
No. Interesting.
I guess it doesn't
quite make sense, but
the answer's no.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go with dollop because I cannot think of anything else D related. You guys have any good ideas that are on theme with me and my brand?
Yeah, well, there's nothing for Z.
Z?
For Zach.
Oh.
If I wanted to go the alliteration route. What is...
A
I can only
think of... Zoopaloo. We can also make up words.
The only thing I can think of is Zephyr, which is like a soft and gentle breeze.
A Zephyr of Zachs.
I mean, I guess but like I don't feel like that connects with me as an individual.
A Zoomy of Zachs.
Ooh,
Zoomies.
Yeah, all right. All right. A Zoomy of Zachs.
Zoomy of Zachs. There you go. That's great. All right, our next one, Desi. Hey, Desi Adams. Is now that we're into the new year, What have you both wanted to accomplish before the year ends?
I'm already stressed out by that question.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I'm trying to get through these relocation aspects of my life right now.
Yeah.
So
you want to accomplish that? Figuring all that crap out. Hi, son. Yeah? You want the mic? He's trying to spread a word. Yeah, that's a big question. I also generally don't like to talk about things I want to do before I've done them already, generally. Not like an evil eye thing, but kind of like an evil eye thing. Mostly just like I don't like to...
She's making moves in silence.
Yeah!
Just
real silent about my move making. But there's one specific project I'm working on right now that's more of like a personal passion project, and I would love to actually complete that by the end of this year.
Yeah. Some of the things...
But I can't tell you what it is because it's a secret.
Some of the other things you were telling me about in terms of this new person talking to and some of the projects they'd like to do.
No, not that.
Oh, okay.
But it is something you know of.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many things. Mm-hmm. What about you? What are you
working
out there watching? What do you want to accomplish?
What are your goals
by the end of this year?
Give us a 5-year plan.
I would also magically love to just be fluent in Italian. Just snap my fingers. Am I actively making a good effort towards learning it? Not really.
That's how I feel about Spanish.
Yeah. And our final that I have question is from Perpetually Curious Forever. Love that name. Oh, and this is the one I mentioned before. What if everyone actually commented on every prompt of comment below from the video? Do you actually want it? Yes.
Yes, we do.
We do. For one very obvious reason, which is it boosts algorithm, but also because it also gives us content to come back and circle back to. And also, we get to hear from you.
That's the most important part.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Now we reach the portion where we have written down things to discuss with each other. I only have one so far.
Strong one.
Oh, now that I'm looking at the notes, we're doing better. Last one was episode 10. We're on 11.
No way.
Yeah.
We surpassed 10?
And 10.
Wow.
I wrote 7-month updates, so I think there was 7 months in between.
There was.
So, and we're only on like 3 months, so we're doing fine. Did we hit all these things last time? If you could go back in time and change one thing. Anyways, what I wrote down was unmatched cool things. So what are things that you think are just like have unmatched cool vibes? So an example I wrote is like there's like a meme song where it's like cool guys walk away from explosions without looking back. It's like they're walking and the explosion in the background. But it could be anything. It could even be like, like I don't know, like opening the door for someone, whatever. What are like in your mind, like what are things that just make someone unmatched cool? I have mine written down. I can share first.
Yes, you share first. I need a moment.
I don't know why it's so cool, but like guys or girls, anybody, but like walking away and you wave behind your back without looking. Like usually the end of the movie or whatever, and they're like, but wait, how will I see you? And it's like before you even finish, they're just like, Breakfast Club, but like they're just like waving. It's, when will I see you again? It's like, see you, Captain. Whatever, just like for the back silhouetted, waving without looking, but they heard you because they waved. And maybe their hands go back in their pockets, just they keep on walking.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you ever do that in real life?
No, I always turn around. Say something goofy, run back up.
This is a hard one to think about just on the nose.
Could be anything.
I have a sidebar that's not the answer to this, but it's a sidebar.
You should. I was just thinking how we weren't doing enough sidebars.
Yeah. How do we feel about the fact that it's become a judged thing to read in public? Like read a book. Like we always think reading is performative. If like a cool person is like reading a book. Yeah. If it's at a bar, which is an extreme example, or if it's literally just like at a cafe, I feel like now it's like they're reading to look cool.
I was thinking about this and I meant to write it down, like the whole like performative thing. And it's so funny because my friend posted, it was like performative male bingo, and it was like fill it out, and it was like listen to Claro, carries a tote bag, has wired headphones, reads Sarah Bell, all stuff like that. And I was like, it literally is just in the eye of the beholder, and it really just comes down to whether or not the person like finds you attractive or not.
Yeah.
Because if you are attractive to somebody, those are going to be positive things, and if you're not, they're not. Or like NYC, like performative male contest, whatever. And it's so funny because it's like, some of these things would be appreciated by someone, like sharing a same music taste, whatever. But there is the other end where it's like, the comment I think I liked most was, it was like an old person that was like, is performative this generation's version of a poser? And I was like, I think that's a good way to put it. Is like, are you being a poser?
Yeah.
Are you, doing things that like you are not, you actually connect
Would
with?
not do.
And just like to hopefully like get... Like some guy was talking on TikTok. He was like the most performative guy, ordering matcha with a vocal fry over the ear headphones. He's like, but what sold it for me was the fact that he had to be lying. But he was like, the wired headphones weren't plugged into his phone. They were just like wrapped around it. I was like, okay, there's clearly got to be a line.
I have known people that do that just so people don't talk to them.
Yeah, that I get.
Or to also tune out a bit of noise.
Yeah, totally valid. But there's clearly got to be a line between like the trend of calling everything performative and then actually being like, oh, you're a fucking poser.
Yeah.
Because reading in public should be fine. Like,
well, and it's like, what is your other option? Sitting there doing nothing, which is also like, I feel like a lot of judgment comes around that, especially if you're by yourself and you're just like sitting there not doing any, and you're not on your phone and you're just observing that. And then also, or the option of just like sitting on your phone, which we can all collectively get the fuck off of our phones more. So.
What do you think about that? I was thinking about that the other day too, in terms of like being on the phone and like how much of a crutch it is for all of us.
Yeah.
And I think you and I were having a conversation. I think you were telling me about like an event or something you were doing, and you were like just not on your phone, or like you were at a fitting. And it like enabled you to like just chat with the director or whatever.
Because I was doing that week in the Artist Way where they call it media deprivation or something like that. And I could not use any form of media consumption the entire week. So I couldn't watch any movies, any shows, and I could not go on my phone.
How was that?
It was so it was so nice. And I keep trying to actually, it's easy for me to do things when it's a challenge and I'm like, I'm doing it because it's the challenge, but I've been wanting to do it again, but it's like hard to stick to it when it's not like I'm under the wraps of the challenge. But it was nice. I was at a fitting, and because like I literally had no option of like sitting there and going on my phone, I was just sitting there idle, and then it ended up leading to a long conversation with the director that was sitting there too, and I felt like he noticed that I was just kind of like sitting there waiting. And then we ended up having a long conversation, and I feel like generally across the board, our phones obviously close us off to many interactions, and it's kind of like and it's also a defense mechanism too, to not have to have interactions
I'm
too.
feeling weird right now, or I'm feeling bored, or I'm feeling whatever, and it's like, well, let me just open my phone.
Yeah. Even like last night, TMI, but I took a bath last night, and I'm not much of a bath taker. I don't understand generally how people find baths to be comfortable. And I'm not that tall of a person, so I can't even imagine like really tall people, but I just feel like the actual material of a tub is just not very comfortable to like lay on, right? So that for that reason, I've never been much of a bath person, but last night I felt called to take a bath. There's a reason for this story, okay? And I felt like for the first 10 minutes of the bath, my mind was just like, when is this bath going to be over? And I dim lights, I put on soft music, whatever. I was really creating the space for it to be relaxing. But the first 10 minutes was very much that like the brain that would default to like media consumption or like something in that moment. And then when I got past that hump, I didn't want to get out of the bath. And then I was just like, literally, I had no form of I was just me and my thoughts. And I was literally like, it felt like being a fucking 7-year-old again when you're in bath time and you're just like, la 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 la, me and my and I didn't want to get out. And I was like, these are the moments that we actually miss when we default going on our phone, just in general. And I saw this video the other day and somebody was like, I went without my phone for a week and I understood why Wi-Fi was invented and this was And it's because like it gives you time to think, to be bored, and then to let something come out of that
your brain
boredom and get past that hump of like the instant gratification. So yeah, I know.
So it's interesting. Maybe we all need to practice it a little bit more.
100%.
Not judge people who are performative. I saw a TikTok and it was talking about, it was this professor and they were talking about like Gen Z. Like one of the observations they've had in teaching Gen Z is like, because I think they do a lot of creative writing, is that I don't have this fear. I know you don't either because we can't in our line of work. But like the fear of being cringe, according to them, was like really preventing people and students from like trying and like putting themselves out there. And there's like a misunderstanding, a misattribution of like aloofness equals intelligence equals like cynicism, which I was like, I can see that. Like a lot of times, like, you know, sarcasm or cynicism can be misconstructed or understood as like cool, as like intelligent and stuff and whatever. And so I think all these things are related in terms of like being afraid of being perceived. So, you know, someone at any moment could just like pull up their phone and you could be viral. And then obviously like media consumption and like addiction to like our devices. So I've been trying to work on that. Of like, I'm just gonna like not pull out my phone, or I'm just gonna sit here. Hello, guy.
It's such a game changer. If I can encourage with that note too, one, try to get past that point of discomfort in getting off your phone, and then two, embrace cringe. Oh my God, and he gets it. How my life has changed ever since I embrace cringe. I mean, cringe literally pays my bills, and has for the last 5 years of my life.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, because Meta is like, anytime they want like one of their platforms to blow up, they will pay smaller influencers like me, not larger like you, and they'll give you like bonuses. They'll be like, hey, if you post, like the Instagram did it with me, Threads did it with me. And it's like, hey, like post 20 videos in a month and we'll give you like $200 or whatever. And so now they're trying to push like Facebook Reels. And so they're like, hey, post 20 and like maybe we'll give you this amount of money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should just like literally just post anything. But it does feel like the internet has changed quite a bit since like 2019, 2020. Like OG TikTok days, like it was really, so silly. You could be silly, and like people were like open to that and stuff. And then the companies came in and ruined.
Things are so serious now.
I know.
So serious, so authentic. Back then, we used to just lollygag and lip sync and wear tiaras.
Oh yeah, and like make like 60-second like complex POV stories. And now I'm just like, oh, you just can't do that anymore.
I know. Now it's got to be like a cool.
I like how he was kind of ignoring me when I first came in.
I know. He's a sucker for. And then once he's in, he's attached.
I know. See, Biscuit is not a lap cat.
Yeah.
He'd rather like sit in between us.
He's the ultimate lap cat. He wants to be attached.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Were we going to talk at all about Love Island? I didn't watch it. I know you did. What about like now? I didn't watch it. I don't like to watch reality shows where people are in bathing suits most of the time. That's kind of like my line. But I love other reality shows. Like I do watch Love Is Blind. I love all the like Korean ones just because
so good. You put me onto those.
Cat hairs.
Yeah.
But like, is there anything to talk about there? My understanding is
stupid.
The only characters I know are Hudda, and then Sierra was the one who got canceled because she had like racist tweets, and then her apology video, she was like wearing jade, and they didn't like that,
and an empathy sweater.
And then Hudda is like, I guess, huge now. I think I just saw she's like collabing with like Opali or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And has like just a bunch of whatever, and like my question is like, how do some people get off scot-free? Because it feels like the worst thing you can be called on those reality shows is like, you know, doing it for the wrong reasons, right? Like doing it to be famous, doing it to whatever, which like obviously they all are.
You're right.
But then why are some of them allowed to leave and the internet is just like, yes, you're now an influencer and we love you.
Yeah.
And other ones are like, no, you were trying to be famous. Fuck you. And like, how is she also like living I don't know. I've just been seeing all the TikToks of like her with like different guys and stuff, which I personally don't care. But then it's like, wait, isn't she a mother?
Yeah, I know. And there's, I think with Huda, she had
she's
such.
like 22, right?
I supposedly they're all like that
Yeah.
that same age, which I find so hard to believe.
too.
But yeah, she had a bit extra. I think her fan base was like very extreme. Like she had people
Yeah.
that really rode for her, and then she had people that really, really hated for her.
Yeah.
And it just led to like kind of a big blow up for her across the board.
Yeah.
But I think she did. You could see the shift in her about halfway through the season. Some people say Megan Thee Stallion, when she came on the show, had a talk with her, and was kind of just like, you need to be aware of
how you're being perceived.
Yeah, exactly. And you can kind of see a shift, I think, happen a little bit through the season. But yeah, I think it's funny because there's people just pick and choose what to blow up and make the worst out of someone. And then I also think it depends so much on how you handle the hate that does get thrown at you too, and how you ride that wave and how they end up surviving the pitfalls. But to be honest, I watched it about halfway through, and then at some point I was like, this is so dumb, and I just had to quit.
It's nuts to me too that like I see comments where people are like, oh wow, like I can't believe they're so young and whatever, but it's like that's not the main, like that's not like everyone's first thought. Like it's crazy to me that like we as a culture will just like pour all of our attention into it and hold these people to standards that we wouldn't normally hold people in that age group to, like in the real world. Like if you're at your company, if someone who's 22 massively fucks up or is like, you know, hungover or like clearly going through a bad breakup or whatever, most people are just going to give them like the benefit of the doubt or space. But then like these people on these reality shows, they're like viscerally attacked. And I'm like, first of all, it's a love dating show. So it's like how, and second of all, like they're between 22 and like some of the older ones I think were like 27 or whatever. And then we all just like forget about it. So it's like, you know.
I think people really use the justification that like just because somebody makes themselves into a public figure that they are then qualified to be held under the fine needle of judgment.
And we should listen to them and stuff.
And it got to a point, especially with Huda, like her family was getting like death threats and they found out everybody's address and things like that. And
that's crazy.
It's like, in no way is that ever okay for anyone ever.
Totally.
You know, especially for like in the context of the show, it's like what
like
she did
not
wrong is not death threat level wrong behavior. Certainly not. It's never that serious.
My understanding
but the
was
internet
she was
makes
pretty like toxic on the show in terms of like her, not in like a negative way, but like in terms of her like attachment style.
She was like reality show toxic. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what there's got to be at least a handful of those people every single time on one of those shows. That's what keeps the show thriving.
I just can't, like the amount of people who like, there's nothing wrong with this, but like if you connect with someone, like it seemed like a lot of her supporters were people who had similar like traumas and like I saw that like the analyzing of her behavior and like of course all the therapists came out and talked about it and being like she has a disorganized attachment style and like she's acting like this because like, you know, she can feel them pulling away or whatever, and like the little stuff of like, you don't cuddle me in the count of 3, you know, or like crying over a guy or like, you know, saying to girls like, I would never do that to you, and then immediately turning around and doing it or whatever, which is like, that's all normal stuff, and we've all been there, and you're young, you're gonna make mistakes, whatever, but to be on the national stage, but the crazy thing to me is like, you then go on the internet to so defend somebody because you're actually defending like yourself or the things that you connect with it. And I'm like, how are you not having like an out of body experience during that of being like, oh, I'm getting triggered because that's how I used to be treated, or that's how I used to treat other people. So it's like the defenders till you die always make me go like, how are you real right now?
I think what we all need to collectively remember is how much editing happens
yeah.
in reality
It's all
TV and how I think people really don't understand how much of it is scripted, how much of it is planned, how much is edited out and edited around to make people look good, bad, terrible, and how much sometimes those shows, they know who the winner is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, and people don't want to hear that. I think people really, especially for a show like this, like people were really invested, like even like their voting really I'm telling you guys, you do not know what happens
this season
with
seemed
reality
like
TV.
Even more so because it's always a big show, but this one felt
This
one felt bigger. This one felt like
everybody was talking about it.
It felt more parasocial than normal.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I remember last time, like, you know, there was Rob, and Miguel, and who was the girl? Leah, yeah. Mm-hmm. And that one felt reality, you know, it was whatever, but like it felt like everybody was still able to go like, all right, you know, that's reality. But this one, it was like, I really think because of the issues, and I'm using quotations not because it's like a bad thing, but I mean just like in terms of the things that the contestants were working on, navigating in themselves, whether it's their own like therapy or trauma or shadow work, whatever you want to say, I just really think it connected, especially Hudda and maybe Sierra and some of the other girls. I think people just really resonated with it, and then that made it like drop that barrier or understanding of like this is whatever. Because like you said, I've worked on reality, not as an actor on the back end. It's fake, and they will literally refilm things over and over, and they'll walk up and they'll be like, "Hey, okay, this time say that this. Zach like fucked your sister at home," and it's all fake, and they are recording hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of hours to consolidate these things. Yeah. And remember, they are introducing characters later too, so it's even more scripted because they will specifically choose people to like stir the pot and stuff. So if you're out, I don't think anyone listening to this is the type to like, you know, form an incredibly unhealthy attachment with a reality TV star. But if you find yourself in a position where you're getting riled up or you're getting in an argument on the internet, just remember it's like, it's all fake.
So much more fake than you realize. Yeah. I can't go, which I'm also shocked by the lack of the NDAs they must have signed as the contestants on this one, because the things they're talking about in some of these interviews after is kind of crazy.
Did you watch the Call Her Daddy one?
Yeah,
I did. Yeah. My understanding in that one was like people were mad at who's the host? Alex? Yeah. People were mad that they like saw she was too softball, like she didn't try to confront Hudda on some of her inappropriate behavior, and it felt a little too yes girl. Any thoughts on that? I mean, but
that's interesting. I only watched bits and clips of it. I didn't see the whole thing through, so
because some people were just really mad at Hudda and felt like she was like manipulative and like an abuser and stuff. Yeah. Where do you fall on it?
I don't give a fuck. Yeah. You know, that's kind of where I fall. I don't see any of those contestants being good or bad. I just see them all as ridiculous reality stars. Like I don't judge their character as people at all, because I can't able to I can't fathom any of like the stuff of them being an actual true representation of their character, because it's a reality television show. Yeah. So it's like impossible to actually know.
I just saw the memes of like the different guys she was with and like their before and after, and it was like a presidency photos, you know, where it's like before and they're all happy, and then the 8 years later they've aged
eats them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, like I did adore Amaya on that show.
I heard she was
America's sweetheart, and I think it's because like she did win.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I just saw a TikTok that was like the winners just broke up after 2 weeks.
Oh, her and Brian, probably, but like nobody cared about them being together. I mean, people wanted them to be together, but only because they wanted Amaya to win. And I feel like we all collectively agreed, like we want Amaya to take the money, but technically a couple has to take it.
I see.
So nonetheless, but I feel like everybody kind of just sensed from her that she was just kind of just being her.
Got it.
In a very like sweet, wholesome, vulnerable way. But there's also a lot of people that say that she kind of, what's the term when you like act like a baby? Yes, a lot of people think that she does that with like her voice and her behavior.
You can never win.
Appeal to, so it's like there's always going to be. Yeah. That's the thing with public presence,
Yeah.
And then there's some of you watching this right now and you're like, I don't know anything about Love Island. What the fuck are you guys talking about for the last 15 minutes?
There's certain medias that I will not consume myself, but then I'll watch them through TikTok.
Yeah.
And Love Island was one. And then, the Summer I Turned Pretty series?
Yeah, I have not seen it.
I haven't watched it, but
bits.
I'm somehow locked into it on TikTok because it's like they're releasing the episodes. Do you know the plot?
No.
It's wild. Okay, so it's about these three people, two brothers and a girl, and they all grew up together. There's Belly, the girl, there's Conrad, the older brother, and there's Jeremiah, the younger brother. And I guess they all grew up together, but then there's like the one summer where I guess she becomes pretty. She goes through puberty, whatever, and then so all of a sudden she's like, it's like a coming of age. It's like, that shift from like adolescence into like young adulthood where you're starting to discover yourself, your sexuality, whatever. So I guess she was always in love with Conrad from a very young age, and then the summer she turned pretty, that's when they got together. But then things get complicated because the boy's mother gets cancer. And she doesn't tell anyone, but I guess Conrad finds out because he's like the very smart guy and he's going to be a doctor, pre-med, whatever. So I guess during their high school relationship, he becomes a little absent because he's struggling with depression. I guess he like forgets her corsage, he forgets about prom, whatever.
Okay.
So she breaks up with him.
Okay.
I guess more plot happens. Maybe he thinks she'd be better off without him, so he like convinces her that they're not interested, whatever. What does this girl do? Starts dating the younger brother, which is already, before we even go any further, that for me is wild. Like you don't get to date inside of a family.
That is crazy.
That's crazy. But like, all right, I guess the justification, my understanding is like it was a high school relationship and then this moved into like adulthood, college. And Conrad is like the older brother, bleeding heart type, whatever. So he goes out of his way to be like, if you guys love each other, I'm going to be okay with it.
Wow.
Like, I'm not going to like let you guys know. But apparently the whole time he's in love with her. Whole time. And I guess there's a big scene at the beach where she's like, why do
you know so
yeah,
much
right? You know so much.
This from your
It's crazy.
TikTok.
And then it's like at his mom's funeral, she is like pitching a fit, being like, you don't love me, whatever. And he's still trying to take care of her in that moment, whatever. And they're on the beach and she's drunk or whatever and they're crying. And she's like, I would have fought for our relationship if I knew you loved me, whatever. And he's like, I thought you knew. So it was like one of the classic, my most hated trope of simple miscommunication.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, he goes off to like Stanford. He's like studying. He's very smart, whatever. She's now dating the brother for 4 years now at this point, all throughout college. According to someone who I talked to on TikTok, because I was like, explain to me, this makes no fucking sense. Apparently in the book, the relationship was like much shorter. But in the show, it's now 4 years. They have fucked a bunch of times. She goes
back to the other guy, doesn't she?
We don't know yet, because we're on that current season. The younger brother is such a terrible boyfriend. Cheats on her like twice.
Wow.
They're still together.
It's totally going to
He
push her
breaks
back
up
to
with
the other
her.
guy.
He goes to Cabo, cheats on her, doesn't tell her. They get back together. She finds out in like the classic case of like she's in the stall. The girls are talking about it.
Please!
Yeah.
Which I actually had that happen to me in high school in real life.
No!
That is actually a real thing.
Boyfriend cheated on you?
Boyfriend cheated on me, and one of the other girlfriends, he was dating another girl entirely, was literally talking about him in the bathroom stall next to me.
Age appropriate?
This one actually, yes. We were
Okay.
both in high school together. I know that was not the case for me.
26
No, I
situation.
mean there was a lot of that, but this was
That's crazy.
my first ever boyfriend.
Okay. So yeah, he's just like a terrible boyfriend, and all the memes are like Conrad's like, "Hey Belly, my mom has cancer and hasn't told anyone, and I'm just too depressed. I can't focus on a relationship." She's like, "All right, Conrad, we're over." And then it's like Jeremiah. It's like, "Hey, I cheated on you twice, and I wasn't gonna tell you." And then I guess her brother gets in a really bad car accident or something, and while she's like at the hospital after she got cheated on, he like proposes to her. No ring, doesn't even get down on a knee. Meanwhile, I guess Conrad, who somehow has enough pull at Stanford medical program to get the head of neurology at the hospital they're at to take over the case, Guess he loses his job, whatever. So I'm deep in this side of TikTok, obviously. And I cannot comprehend that anyone, because everyone is Team Conrad, right? They're like, get back with the older brother. He's never stopped loving you. He did everything for you.
Yeah.
And it's like all the little stuff, right? Like they're out at dinner so he finally comes back. And apparently he's like in deep therapy because of all the trauma and stuff. And he can't face going back there. But his therapist convinces him to go and whatever. So he shows up. It's like, I don't know what the event is. It's either like, I think it's their college graduation, something to do with his mom's passing, anniversary, whatever. They're like at dinner, and it turns out that Belly's mom is paying, and they're poor and the boys are rich.
The name is Belly?
Isabella. Yeah.
God, Belly is a terrible nickname. Right? Sorry, go on.
And because the mom says she's paying, the boy's dad is like, I'll have the surf and turf. And then Jeremiah's like, I'll have the surf and turf. And so Belly, like, knowing that money is an issue, like, I think she orders a salad. And then Conrad's so great and attentive that he, like, orders the cheapest dish, whatever. So there's so many little things like that. But I, like, commented, I was like, can someone explain this to me? How can you in good conscience want a relationship between two exes after she has been loving and fucking and future planning with your brother for 4 years? I'm like, at what point is there no path back in this relationship? Because to me, there was no path. Like, even if you love each other, like, at a certain point, move on. It's crazy. And then everyone's just like, I think the one comment I got back was just like, yeah, my boyfriend makes fun of me for it too, but like it's just because Conrad loves her so much and he never stopped loving her and da-da-da. But to be fair, there are plenty of people who are like, I'm Team Conrad stays in California and like dates somebody else.
Yeah.
And then it was like Jeremiah doesn't deserve Belly, but Belly doesn't deserve Conrad. And it's like, let me know down below if you're a fan of this show. How can you be Team Conrad? How can you be like, yes, bro, you deserve to be with the girl who's been with your brother for 4 years.
Yeah, I feel like I'm Team Conrad not being with her.
Yeah, me too, bro.
In his own lane.
Like they all just need to move on.
How could you ever sleep with someone that slept with your sibling?
So many times.
I can't even do that with like
And like how could you go back and forth?
Yeah.
Like it'd be one thing if it was like, all right, me and my high school girlfriend broke up and it's like you guys truly have a connection. Still weird, but like all right, like we were kids. You guys clearly are like, if you're soulmates, go for it. Whatever.
Weird.
Even that's weird. That is the sliver, the tiniest sliver of like acceptableness.
Acceptableness.
Oh gosh. And apparently the actor who plays Jeremiah is like a huge like MAGA guy. Oh. And so like people also hate his character for that reason. But like the whole show is like very cringe and like Wattpad-esque. Like it's a young adult novel. I see. But like they'll just do like edits of like Afraid of Jeremiah and he'll just be like taking his lines out of context where it was like I think the line is like they're talking about like them getting together and then he's like I can't kiss you right now because if I do I don't know if I'll be able to stop. And it's like that is one of those things where it's like your delivery really matters there, you know, because your delivery right there is giving stranger danger. But there are ways to be like Mr. Darcy,
right? Where
of
it's
like
hot. Yeah.
My passion for you is so intense that I can't even. Like I saw another TikTok where it was like the enemies to lovers and like you spill the drink on my lap and before you can touch me, I stop you and I go like the way you've been looking at me tonight. Like if you touch me, like I won't like blah 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 blah. And I'm like, all right.
There's such a fine line between the creepy and the enticing.
Well, that's what I found as someone that makes like media for women. It is a really, 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 really fine line between like inappropriate and like hot. And it really
depends. Also, not only how you're saying, but who is saying it and whether or not you are into that.
It goes back to the performative
person.
Thing, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you
know so much lore.
I'm deep in this, and I haven't even watched the show. But that's how they get me. I watched all of Young Sheldon because of TikTok. No, just a few episodes on TikTok.
I know.
It's so funny because you get like 30 seconds of an episode, and then you get 30 seconds of an entirely different.
I don't get like episodes of stuff on my feed.
You're on the wrong. You know, there was one the other day where it was like, stop scrolling, entire episode of Drake and Josh, and it was a full 24-minute episode on TikTok. And you can make good money on TikTok being like a clip farmer.
Yeah, I mean,
but don't buy anyone's course, guys. That's just a rule of thumb. We're gonna give our advice at the end, and mine is never buy a course for anything ever.
On that note, if you ever sold a course,
I've thought about this so much.
What would you sell a course on?
I've thought about this so much because when I first moved to LA, like a few years in, I realized just how unprepared actors are for entering the film industry because it is not taught. It is not taught in theater school. It is not taught in film school. If you go to theater school, they teach you how to be a stage Shakespearean actor. Yeah. If you go to film school, they teach you how to like essentially just critique film.
Yeah.
Maybe they teach you how to make a short film, not in like a professional way in terms of like what it actually looks like. They don't teach you how to like get funding, anything like that. No one teaches you how to be an actor in LA. Like there's so many questions like what are headshots? What are self-tapes? What websites do I need to be on? How much should my agent get paid? When should I be getting paid? What's SAG? What's the initiation fees? You know, how do I go to a cattle call audition? What's a commercial audition? What's a theater? Do I need model? There are a billion questions out there.
Yeah.
So when I first started doing this and I had to get all this information, I was like, oh, and I got very close to it. I was like, that could be a good course. Ultimately, I decided not to because I do believe that the course industry and business coaches are fake. And the second reason I thought a lot about this is because I worked for a business coach who sold courses and coaching. And I also worked for a brand consultant. And I've worked in qualitative market research. So I've worked around this topic. So I've thought a lot about it. But I think if I were to do a course, it would be, now I think it would be expanded, but it would be about like how to be an actor. And it would include everything, like how to get an agent, how to handle those meetings, how to do the auditions, everything in that. And then I would also now include like a content creation aspect of it because I do think it's not required, but it kind of is. I do think that like if you want to be a competitive actor, it just behooves you to also pursue content. I'm not saying you have to do it at the level Dorothy does it where it becomes like your full-time income, but I do think it would help you develop skills and networking and earn some income and also just like get you savvy in terms of like what that looks like. So I think that's what my course would be. And I would also offer like coaching on the side.
Of course. That's what you do when you sell a course.
But if I wasn't an actor, I think I would be either a physical therapist or weirdly enough, I do think I would be a career coach.
Nice.
But I would be upfront and I would tell people, I'm like, listen, like all coaching is compiling resources that you can get yourself. So I would never lie to people. I'd be like, all this information is out there. What you would be paying me for is consolidating it in for you and then also like being a teacher that you can ask questions of. Yeah. But the most important thing, and that's why it works for some people, is you are just an accountability person.
Yeah, for sure.
Because some people out there, myself included, like you don't need a gym to get into amazing shape. All of the tools are out there in the world. You can run. You can do calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups. There are free outdoor gymnasiums. There are free resources you can go. But that being said, paying a monthly fee and having one specific place you can go with all of the machines is going to make it easier. Totes. And that's kind of how I view those coaches is like, you don't need to do this, but sometimes the investment, you putting the money is what is weirdly going to motivate you. Yeah. And it will make things easier. And depending on your level of income, that might be worth it. There were times in my life where it would make a lot more sense for me to spend 30 hours learning how to edit a very specific thing. And now I'm at a point in my life where I would rather spend that money to hire someone so that I could spend that time on something else. Yeah. So that's what my course would be about. That's what I would be coaching about. Yeah. It is all fake, but for some people, it is helpful. Be careful. DM me if you're thinking of joining a coach, and I'll let you know if it's worth it or not.
And with that being said, buy our course, How to Start a Podcast from Just Your Couch.
Ours would be good. And it would be money back forever. Money back guarantee. If you sit down and you have an honest which is also a sales technique. And that's another thing. I would be such a sales guy. I have worked in sales, and it's like I'm so good at it, and I hate it. At the same time. Yeah. And I hate that I'm so good at it that I can sell anyone anything. And I know you're sitting there doubting me right now, and I promise you I can. It's like I'm like Batman in a sense where I have all the tools, but I hate that I can do it, you know? So everybody's lucky that I have like a conscience and I'm like an artist.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would be on Wall Street selling out the U.S. economy for my own benefit.
We're so lucky.
You guys are lucky. I would make things so much worse, and I would get all the money, and I wouldn't lose one lick of sleep about
Damn
it.
you having morals.
Oh, gosh. What would your course be about?
Yeah, you know, I think,
Same one?
yeah, no, well, yes, no.
We
okay.
could do doublies.
No,
It's
no,
good to
no.
have two people.
Right. I mean, I think every single creative at some point thinks about the course option.
Well, because it just got so big.
Yeah.
And it's like...
that and selling a digital product.
Yeah.
Which I actually created a
right.
full digital product of how to grow on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I put so much time into this thing. It was so detailed. It was honestly so well done. And then the document
Didn't save?
vanished. It was so weird. I went to my Google Doc one day and it was like gone. It was like it had been deleted.
We could find
Who knows? Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Anyways, that I had already completely created, and then after it got deleted, I was like, well, fuck that, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. I've thought a lot about it.
It would be something, because I actually genuinely do feel like I've learned a lot in all the years of things to do and things not to do in many ways, but there's such a strong level of and I don't get imposter syndrome with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But there is with that, with teaching or with selling a course or selling a product, that's like, well, who the fuck do you think you are to be selling that? I've never, with the acting thing, I never felt even when I do YouTube videos, I'm always like, these are bare basic things, but it feels so weird to ever share those things. Like, who are you?
But it has value. And I was chatting with a friend that I might be working with. Can't share about it right now. But we have complementary but different skills. And some people are good at math and some people are good at painting. You know, some people are good at writing and some people are good at editing. And it is very easy for us, and this is for you guys too, to diminish the things that we're good at and elevate the things that we're bad at. But just because we're like, oh, I can't do that, that must have so much more value. Dorothy can do that and I can't do that. Of course she can for X and Y and Z reasons. But really, all of our skills have value, and there are some people that it just doesn't come as naturally to. And this was the thought process I went under when I was like, oh, could I create this? Because I had the same thing. I was like, well, I got all this information just from being here and working and podcast and compiling.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, anyone could get this information, but one, it has the value that it's already put together. Two, you do have legitimate understandings of social media. You're living proof. You've built a brand. You bring in income from it. And even if there are people at a higher level, that doesn't mean that the skills that you have earned up to this point could not benefit someone who is just starting out. But mine comes from more the moral perspective that I have of well, why should I be charging for this and that? Yeah. But a friend did help me kind of rationalize that of if we don't do it, someone else is going to do it. And at least we know our own morals, and that we are going to use whatever financial gain we have to support our own communities and families, as opposed to other people who might use it for nefarious purposes. And you're not forcing anyone to and you wouldn't be a scummy car salesman. I signed up for the cold read app, and then I used it and I was like, oh, this isn't for me, so I canceled it because I was like, oh, I'm not going to use this. I canceled the subscription a few days afterwards, and then it was like, cool, we're not going to charge you. And then I got charged anyway. And then I went through Apple's refund thing, and they're like, no, we're not doing that. And then I'm like, you are scummy if you are one of those companies. And I know this is totally out of left field. I know a lot of OnlyFans people do this too, because I was chatting with my friend who has an OnlyFans, where they will specifically do a free trial for a week in the hopes that you forget, the Planet Fitness aspect of it. And I'm like, we wouldn't be like that.
Yes.
And if we did a mutual coaching thing or whatever, I would offer 100% refund, money back guarantee. All you would have to do is sit down and talk with me and explain to me why this doesn't work for you. And then we'd have a conversation. And if by the end of the conversation you were like, it just didn't work, I'd be like, all right, here's your money back.
Right.
No worries.
But you're having this one-on-one convo with the sales guy who's going to talk you right back into keeping that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would talk you back into, but like for me, since I come from like a research background, is like I would want to understand like
stats.
why my program wasn't working.
Yeah.
So like let's say it was like how to be an actor or whatever, and like you bought it because you wanted to get an agent. And I actually, did I ever tell you this? I bought a program. I want to say it was like $1,000 or $1,500, and it was like about like getting an agent and whatever.
Jeez.
But I specifically paid for it because I already knew everything they were teaching. They were doing essentially what's called like an email blast mail merge.
Oh, right.
Which I've told you about this.
Yes.
They are free tools. You can pay for them, but they're free tools which essentially allow you to send a mass email, essentially connect an email to like an Excel database. And it allows you to send a bunch of emails with one click of a button, and you can customize them. So the email can be like, hey, name, column A, which is where all the names are, and then you could just have like B, which is like your hook sentence. So I went through a database and I saw Dorothy Mannine, and then I wrote a sentence for you, and then I went to Agent Zach and I wrote a sentence for him, and then like maybe the middle paragraph is something that everything had, whatever. So it just allowed you to like automize it instead of like sending a bunch of fucking emails. I already knew how to do that, and I've done this multiple different times. But what I wanted, what their whole sales gimmick was, is they were like, hey, we have an up-to-date database of a phone book of all of them. Right. Because the big thing with this is like keeping that up to date, because agents change their emails, people get a hold of them, whatever. And when I first started doing this in 2017, nobody else was doing it. I had a lot of success. By 2023, especially after COVID, everybody was doing it. But I paid them, and I even reached out to them. I was like, hey, I don't need your coaching. Like nicely, I was like, I don't need your coaching. I don't need your support, because that was their whole thing. They were like, we will coach you through the process. We will hold your hand.
Just give me the emails.
Yeah, we will. Yep. And I was like, can I just charge you? Can I just be charged for this list? Because I bought one a couple of years ago. I think the one I shared with you was a guy, and he was like, I have the list. I was like, can I just buy it from you? And they were like, no. They were like, you have to do the full program. And they were like, but we do have a refund guarantee. So I bought the program. It was one of those courses where it's like, you're watching a video of them, and it was basic stuff, not for me. I didn't need it. It was like how to write an engaging email. Yeah. How to when to send a follow-up. And so I went through all of it, and then I got the database, and the database was still like, it was okay, but a lot would bounce back. But you were paying for them. You could reach out to them and say, hey, emails 80 through 100 didn't work, and then they would go get the regular ones, whatever. But I basically reached out to him, but I had to sit down with the guy. And he was like, well, why are you doing this? And I just sat down and just explained how I understand it. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, this isn't like a fit for you. And then they gave me my money back.
Oh, nice.
But I feel like in the acting world, I feel like are more likely to give your money back because it's so reputation based. And they're all like feely guru-y. Yeah. But like other business coaches, like my ex-boss, like he was a personal trainer. So he would coach other personal trainers. They would be like, because they fucking were from like Florida and Texas and stuff. They'd be like, fuck you, bro. You paid for it. Get the fuck out of here. But like in the acting world, they'd be like, oh, like, yes, of course. Like, oh, I would hate for you to not feel like you're getting value, whatever. Yeah. So you'd have to sit down and talk with me just so I can know how it didn't work.
When he sells his course, just know.
I'm only doing it if we do it together.
All right. Let us know in the comments below, what course do you want to see from us?
And what course would you make?
And wrong answers only. Yes. What are the most ridiculous course ideas you would want from us?
And what should our Halloween costumes be?
Yes.
Give us separate options and options to do together.
Yes. Because I also don't have Halloween plans. Yeah. And come out to New York.
If I'm there, come out to New York.
We can have a New York Halloween.
If I'm here, we can hang out here.
Yeah. We could do
all right.
Duo
well, this has been
70 hours.
Oh, actually, no. I thought it was going to be way longer. Only an hour and 18 minutes.
Really? I thought we at least hit the 2 mark.
Me too. Let's keep going.
All right, friends. Well, I mean, I think we naturally came to the end.
But it was good we had tangents, because I was going to talk about earlier, but we fixed it. Yeah. I was like, oh, we shouldn't become one of those podcasts that only does viewer readings. And then I'm like, so then what's the point of us even doing this? We could just do it in a YouTube video.
I feel like we always naturally end up.
Yeah. And I think that is where the heart of our podcast is the tangents and stuff. So I was going to encourage us to take more, but then we
they got to come naturally.
Yeah.
Which they do.
I feel like I had one other thing, but I can't.
Well, maybe it'll come to you for the next one.
Anything you're excited about coming up?
I have so many things I'm excited about, but I
Things you can
can't
talk
tell
about?
you about any of them. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really it. But we can do our
Advice?
our piece of advice.
Yeah, I feel like I've been dropping many throughout this.
Well, you got to give them your rapping one.
My rapping one?
I'll go first.
All
You
right.
think on it.
All right.
For me, I feel like lately I have been really in alignment with receiving rather than fighting tooth and nail to make things happen. And it has been really working out very nicely for me. So now, listen, before you check out, I know if you're a spiritual person at all, or if you listen to any self-help or anything ever, you're always hearing spiels that are always telling you like, you just have to believe it, and you just have to allow things to happen and to feel that it's already happened. And I know that can feel so impossible sometimes, especially when you're in survival mode with things, and it's really hard to just be like, well, this is already mine. It's already happening for me and whatever. Okay. And this was extremely hard for me specifically because I've always equated like hard work to being why I receive anything. And there's a degree of that I do think is still important, but I also think aligned action is best. Okay. So with that being said, something I incorporated about, I would say like a couple months ago is I've actually began saying affirmations to myself in the mirror every morning and every night when I do my skincare. And it started kind of as a joke because I saw this girl on TikTok. She had acne for a long time, and she started, every time she would do her skincare, she would just say like, my skin is clear. My skin is clear. And while she did her skincare every single day, and who knows if she was telling the truth or not, but she was like, that was literally the last breakout that I had when I started this, and she hasn't broken out since. I know. Hear me out. So I kind of like started doing it as a joke, and I was like, my skin is clear. My skin is clear. Listen, I've made a lot of changes in my life. My skin has been in a much better situation lately. So I kind of started it as a joke, but my skin has been really great. But then I was like, I'm doing this affirmation. I should do all the affirmations that I also want to incorporate while doing this. I only do affirmations that feel good. If I feel any sort of like disbelief in my chest, I don't do that one. So I only do things that feel broad or vague enough where it feels like it's really aligned with me. I won't tell you which ones mine are because you got to find what works for you. But all of this is to say, not only with trying affirmations, but with, I think especially for women, but I think for everyone in general, just a reminder to yourself that it is so important to believe those things and really sit in them and feel the future version of you now and be like, yeah, that's already existing for me right now, right here, and keep working towards kind of living in that state now. And you'll start to see things unfold for you more and more when you just like already believe that it's happening for you right here, right now, rather than what I've basically always done, which is like, I want this thing, which is what you hear all the time, which is sitting in the, this is happening right now. But keep it vague enough where you don't feel the little disbelief in your chest. If you do feel that, don't use that one. Use something else, because I feel like those ones don't ever work. So it's got to be just the ones that like feel right. Great. That was a long tangent, but there you go.
That was good.
Yeah. What's yours?
I like that. Mine's very similar. Like, I'm trying now to be more like present and like trusting the process.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like this doesn't apply if you are like in a position where like you are not feeling active, like an active participant in your life. Because I feel like there are like two phases of like life activity, whatever. There's like phases where you're like unhappy and you want to be somewhere else. You want to be doing something else, but like you haven't quite put that into motion yet. Or like maybe you need to like, if the time just isn't right. Like maybe you like need to finish school, or you need to like, you have medical things going on, whatever. That's like one phase. This advice is not for that. There's the second phase of activity where like you really have some goals or whatever, and you are doing as much as you can be doing for it. Like, you are actively putting in the work. You are genuinely putting in like the effort. You're, trying creative solutions. You're putting your energy, your money, your time, whatever into like doing it. This advice is for that. And it's for, I've been trying to just be present and like trust the process a little bit more, as opposed to like gripping so tight on things and trying to control everything.
Yep.
And just understanding that like what is yours like will not pass you by. And we were having a conversation the other day of like how it's like so random. You can like really want something or work towards something or like dedicate yourself towards something. And it's always like the most random things that you didn't think were going to work, or something just kind of fell into your lap.
Yep.
And then that's kind of where I'm at in terms of like just trying to trust the process and like let life kind of come to you in a sense of like processing it and enjoying it, being an active participant, instead of like being so focused on like the things that you want or the things that you are trying to do or what have you. And so, yeah, that's kind of mine and where I'm at, what I'm trying to do. I feel like I was saying some stuff earlier that are also good while I was saying them. So feel free to swap it out if that one didn't apply to you. Whether it was like the imposter syndrome or the course stuff.
Take what inspires and leave
like
the rest.
Being cringe is okay.
Yeah.
Or like there's nothing wrong with like being performative if like you...
Wow, you remember all of them
if
on
you
the
are just
spot.
like connected.
It's
Well,
amazing.
because you were like, oh, do your wrap up one. And I was like, oh, but we gave so many already. So I was like trying to...
I'm amazed you remember. I can never recollect.
That's what I'm saying. It's different skills. I was doing that thing with my friend, and we were doing like a mock-up for it. And essentially it was like, we were like doing a verbal mock-up of the project we may or may not be working on. And that's kind of my skill, is like even on tangents, like my brain, I can almost always like loop it back.
That's so nice. Great for comedy too.
Yeah, callbacks. Yeah. But anyways, thanks for listening, guys. We love you a lot. We'll try not to do it for 3 months.
But
And
we'll see.
Depending
Maybe
on my
next
travel
time
schedule, that might
we'll
not be the case.
be podcasting in New York.
Yeah. Or it might be virtual, where it might be like you'll be here, and then the other half of the screen will be me.
Yeah, we'll see.
But you don't want to.
I'm not crazy about the virtual idea. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
You guys probably don't care, but let us know in the comments how you feel about split screen Zoom situation for the pod.
Thing that we're doing, instead of sitting next to each other, it's just on a screen.
It just doesn't feel right.
It would not feel the same vibe, but I mean,
but it's better than nothing, and that's what you guys are all gonna think. It's better than no pod.
We could even try to make it look. I could do some editing magic where we make we both have the same. We do our backdrops, and then it'd be seamless. People wouldn't even know.
We'll just green screen. We're in a castle filming the pod.
Did I show you when I like tried to green screen my like comedies tape and I like put myself in like a backdrop? I'm like on the stage. I look so bad. I had to do.
I need to see that
It was one of those open call auditions, and it was for NBC. But this time it's like they wanted stand up, so I did like 3 or 4 minutes of stand up.
Okay.
And I did it on a green screen, a blue screen.
Was it requested?
No.
Green screen? That was just your.
No. Well, they wanted either like footage of you doing stand up, or if you didn't have that available, like just like you recording your original material.
Okay.
So I did a self tape as if I was on stage. It was
So
just like
the
blue screen.
green screen
and then I
was
green screen like me in like a comedy club, and it was so ridiculous. But I was like, oh, it's kind of funny since it's something comedy.
Kind of funny. It's ridiculous.
And so I sent it off to my managers, and I was like, hey, I have one that it's a self tape. It looks like a regular self tape, and I was like one where I like superimposed myself, and it's like
that's kind of hilarious. Which one did they like?
They were like, you got to send both.
Yeah.
It was the exact same tape.
Yeah, but it was
just like a different background.
Yeah, because that's so funny.
I thought I showed you that.
I don't think so.
I might have
not that I recall, but
I thought I sent it to a bunch of people, but you're like the second person
I would remember
had this conversation
with. But I don't know. But yeah, find that and we'll review that. But yeah, friends. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we'll see how it unfolds for the next one. But let us know how you feel about the potential of a virtual podcast. Did you find it that quickly?
No, I almost started playing some smut accidentally.
Oh, well, wouldn't that be a nice wrap-up treat for everybody?
No, people aren't necessarily here for that.
Save it for showing me off camera.
Okay.
Let's say our farewells.
I have I don't know why I have it.
Definitely, maybe.
It's just a Ryan. But I'm not a Ryan Reynolds fan anymore. I was for the longest time.
All All right, friends.
All right.
We'll see you on the next one, whenever it may be. Thanks for watching.
Yep.
This has been Ginger Unscripted. Pew pew.